way to go. Seems your fate is all in your hand. Look out.
Hello, hi everybody, and welcome to today's virtual coffee chat with the Dean and the Digital Program Manager of our Global Online MBA. So my name is Valentina, and I will be moderating this event today. I hope all of you is fine, and I'm very happy to see so many of you joining us today. It would be great to also see your faces, so I would encourage you to have your camera on, and feel free also to turn on your microphone if you want to share anything or ask any question throughout the meeting. So let's try to make this event as interactive as possible, since this is it's going to be a discussion panel. So it's very good that we interact with each other and yeah, share whatever we want to share today. Okay, so to begin with, it would be great to kind of start by saying and sharing where we are connecting from. For instance, I'm connecting for our London office, but I know that Jennifer and Gerta are connecting from different parts of the world. So guys, if you want to start putting in the chat where you are connecting from, that would be great. So we can also see how many different nationalities we've got here today. Okay, so I was just trying to have some minutes to let people join the meeting, but now I believe that without further ado, we can start. So I will start by sharing with you a short introductory video, and then I will give the word to Jennifer and Gerta.
You tackled it head on.
Hey.
Awesome.
Business should not be involved in something that's controversial, that will have multiple opinions, because it will be taking sides. And as a business, you shouldn't be taking sides.
Actually going to talk specifically about Colin Kaepernick here.
If I owned my own business, I would be okay with losing money from consumers that didn't align with my beliefs. It comes down to like humanity right now.
Do they have the luxury not to take a position on some controversial issues?
Sorry, Nike. I've been buying you for the past 20 plus years. Not anymore.
If you speak from a position of values and purpose, then it comes from a place of authenticity. If it's done in an inauthentic way, that's when it becomes a problem. Taking a controversial position or a brand embracing a controversial position can have consequences.
What did they really lose? My guess is they probably gained from taking that stance. I mean, I bought more Nike shoes, like that was my stance.
Is your goal to be that brand that's selling products? Are you trying to be political? Are you trying to be an activist while selling your brand?
Nike waited 2 full years to take a position on this one.
Great, so let me just stop sharing my screen. There we go then. Welcome, Jennifer and Gerta. How are you today?
Good morning, doing well.
Great.
Hi, everyone.
All right, then you can start with the presentation. So I will just let you speak now. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Valentina, and welcome everybody. It's so great to see your faces. We've been looking at your emails and your names for a long time, so it's really, really wonderful to have you here. I'm Jen Sarowick. I'm the Associate Dean for the Global Online MBA, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I do, but first I'd like to introduce my colleague Gerta and have her tell you a little bit about her role, and then I'll jump in again. Gerta?
Thank you, Jen. Hey, everyone. So my name is Gerta. I am the Digital Programs Manager at HALT for online programs. So what that really means is I'm responsible for making your online experience extraordinary. It's, making sure that you attend all the online classes and they're set up in a way that you get and receive a quality education, but also designing and delivering the asynchronous or self-paced courses at the same time. So I work very closely with the faculty. My other passion is just to ensure that, everyone here receives the best education that they can. And after graduating from Holt, they go out there and make a positive impact in the world. So I'm here to support you and your journey at Holt.
Thank you so much, Gerta. Gerta and I are huge coffee drinkers, so it is just after 8 o'clock in the morning here in Boston. So I know everybody's in different time zones. So if you're ever awake in the morning and want to Zoom with us, just be sure you bring your coffee. So we are drinking coffee and chatting with you. So I'm Jen, and I am fairly new to Holt. I've been with Holt for about 4 months now, but I have many years of work with adult learners like yourself in what we call kind of non-traditional programs. So part-time, online, folks who are working, who are raising their families, who are doing something other than being a student. So that is my background. I have a doctorate in leadership with a focus on higher education administration. So that's what brings me to you. I love working with adult learners, and obviously that's who you all are. So I'm really proud to be at Holt with this part-time online MBA, which we're sure is going to work around your life, and we're just so happy that you've taken the chance to join. So definitely this is casual. Feel free to unmute, to jump in with questions, to put a question in the chat, to raise your hand, however you're most comfortable participating. And I'll just give a little bit of an introduction about kind of where you are in your journey and what's to come in the coming weeks before we see you officially at orientation, and then we'll open it up for questions. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions to start off yet? Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you all received an email from me last week, actually on Saturday. If you didn't, for some reason, get my first welcome email, feel free to private message me or post in the chat. We want to make sure we've got all of your contact information. I hope the email got through to everybody, but this was the first of 3 welcome emails that you'll be getting from our team in the coming weeks. And if you ever need more information, you could always just reply to that email, and we're happy to help anytime. So in this first email, we of course welcomed you, and we gave you a couple of important save the dates. So just as a reminder, you will officially launch this program on April 21st, which is a Friday, and we're going to have orientation where it's going to be 90 minutes of just lots of information. And we're going to tell you now is a lot of information. We don't expect you to remember it all. We will share the presentation with you, and of course we'll be with you. But during orientation, we'll let you know a lot more specifically about what to expect in your classes, how to be prepared, the format of your courses. We're going to introduce you to other Holt services, things that you can take advantage of while you're a student at Holt. So most importantly, you've got 2 dates on your calendar right now to save the date. So we are a virtual online MBA, which means you have the option to do the entire program live online like this. All of our live online courses are held in Zoom with our faculty guiding you through the program. What makes this program super flexible is that you also have the option to do some of your core classes in an asynchronous format, which means completely online. You don't have to be anywhere at a certain time. You're working through modules. These are 7-week courses, so that's 6 specific modules with a week to catch up to do any work. So the first 2 live online dates that you need to have on your calendar, of course, is orientation. Again, that's April 21st. And we will always offer everything in 2 time zones. So we'll always do a Boston time zone, and we'll always do a London time zone. And depending on your work life, your family life, you can rotate between the 2 time zones, whatever is going to work best for you. So you'll always have the choice to choose the time zone that's going to be best. So on that orientation day, we'll have 2 different times for orientations. You can come to either session. One is in the morning and one is in the afternoon. And then the next very important date is your first required live online course. Now, I did say that in the program, you'll have the choice to move between the live online and the asynchronous, with the exception of 2 courses in every module. So your program is made up of 5 different modules, and they always start with an authentic leadership course and they finish with a business challenge. You will always be together as a group for that authentic leadership and for the business challenge. So everyone will be doing a live online authentic leadership the weekend of April 28th. Okay, so this is going to be the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th. And in that email, I gave you the hours. And I don't want to get too much into the details with you here, but this first course is a 1 credit course, which means it's 10 hours. This is how you can always figure out how much time you're going to be spending in these courses. For every credit, you're going to be 10 hours of live online work. So this is a 1 credit course. Going forward, you'll have 2 credit leadership courses, and that'll be 20 hours in a weekend. So it's definitely intense. You're going to have to tell your families to leave you alone. You're going to have to lock yourself in a room and just focus on the courses. But it's a great, efficient way for working folks to get through these classes. So it's definitely intense, but we have a good time when we're together on the weekends. Okay, and then once we get closer to orientation, we'll make sure that you have the other dates for all the other live online courses, and we'll make sure you have them so you can put a hold on your calendar for those. Okay. So what you should be thinking about now is kind of getting yourself all set and ready. So that means setting up your Holt student email. That means making sure you're checking emails from us. So we'll be communicating with you to your personal emails right up until orientation. But after that point, we really want you to be on your student email. That's how your faculty will reach you. That's how you'll get notifications about your finances. It's how we send all communications. So just, make sure you're moving forward with that. If anybody has any problems with that, of course, feel free to reach out to us at any time. Okay. And, coming towards orientation, the other thing we'll be doing is we'll be telling you about another course that you'll be taking alongside with authentic leadership, and it's called Program Immersion. So that is a 1 credit course. That one is asynchronous, which means you'll be working through that online, but that really is your introduction to all things MBA. So I don't know, just by a show of hands, is anybody, and maybe you don't feel like putting your hands up, but one thing we frequently see is that adult learners who might be coming back to school after some time away maybe have some anxiety about online learning, or how are you going to balance this with your work and your family and your life, and what's the best way to study online? How can you organize your time? Anybody feeling that right now? Anybody feeling okay? I see some hands up. I see some. Okay, good. Yeah, Gerta's feeling it right now. Yeah. So, okay. So we kind of share that, and it's completely expected. This is a huge investment. This is a lot of time for, I remember when I did my doctorate program, I had no idea how I was going to fit it in, because I felt like my days were already completely full with work and families. And I'm sure you're feeling the same way now. And it kind of just squeezes in there, right? It's like water in a glass of rocks. You're going to find time. You're going to find time to get it in there. And, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but we're here with you for this journey. And it's okay if you're feeling that anxiety. So Program Immersion will help. We're going to talk you through all the ins and outs of the program. We're going to give you suggestions on how to study online. And you're going to meet your team, which is everybody on this screen, plus more. So the other beautiful thing about this program is you are going to meet so many people from all over this planet, and it is so exciting. And you're going to work on teams with them, and you really develop as a family, and I mean that truly. Our students get very close. You lean on each other. You're going to develop separate WhatsApp groups to communicate on your own. You're going to make some really good friends and colleagues in this journey. So Program Immersion is also a chance to get to know the other folks in your cohort. Okay. So we want you to take this one step at a time. We're going to get you ready. There's nothing you need to be, studying or preparing. You don't need to learn anything about financial statements right now. We're going to get you through this program one step at a time. Okay. Yes, Gerta, the people in the introduction video are our students. That faculty member was the brilliant Matt Fisher, who you will have multiple times. Matt is a marketing guru, and you will just love your classes with him, as well as all of our faculty who are well known in their industries. These are folks who've had successes with their businesses. So that's the other beautiful thing, is you're going to have a lot of connections to new industries and to companies through your business challenges. So you'll get to meet our faculty as well. Okay, I'm going to stop yakking at you for a minute and just pause and see if anybody has any questions right now. Any questions about that email? Any questions about orientation or the first course or anything we've talked about so far, or anything? Feel free to just come off mute or put in the chat.
Sorry, I have a question.
Sure, Babak.
I didn't catch it for the course on April and that weekend. Can you please say it again? What time is it from, starting from when to when, in London time or Dubai time, any of these?
Yes, Gerta, do you mind reviewing those times since you have this?
Sure, I can tell you now. So it's 10 hours and we usually start them at 11 a.m. London time zone. So Fridays 11 to 1, Saturday 11 to 3, and then Sunday 11 to 3. And it's the same times for Eastern. So 11 to 1 Eastern time for the Boston time zone, 11 to 3, 11 to 3. So we tend to start a little bit later so we can catch all of North America and then sort of be in the middle with Europe and Asia as well. The timings have worked really well for our other cohorts, and especially Fridays, right? Because you're still a work day, but you could take those 2 hours, from work and say I have to attend a class, and then Saturday, Sunday are a little bit longer.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello everyone. I just had a question about the email. If it was sent from you personally, Jennifer, I don't think I've received it yet. So just inform me about that. Thank you.
Okay, Osama, if you could do me a huge favor and put your personal email in a private chat to me, and I will make sure I've got the right email. Sometimes maybe there's a little typo and it didn't get to you, but if you just want to chat me, I'll make sure I send it to you later today.
Of course. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And same for anyone else. If you didn't receive it, please go ahead and feel free to message that to me. I did get a private question that I'll just answer for a group because maybe some of you have that same question. But the question was, can we attend both the self-paced and the online classes? And I'm going to say no to that because you don't have to. There's really no reason to invest that much time. They cover the exact same content. If you're concerned about the content, about making sure you get all the material, you will have access to the same material in both formats. So Gerta, would you like to take a minute to explain what we call our learning management system or our learning platform? And this is how you're always going to have access to the information. So I know the weekend feels really quick, but you're going to have a way to go back and reference the material. So Gerta, could you share a little bit about that?
Sure. So anyone here has heard of Canvas? So Canvas is a learning management platform. We call it My Courses, and that is the platform where we offer all our courses. It is set up for universities to share content, to grade students. So there's a grade book on there. There's discussion forums, there's a syllabus, there's a calendar. So anything and everything you need to know about courses, it's on that platform. So on your second email that Jen will send, we will have an explanation of what My Courses is, how you can access it, and how you can go in there and start exploring right away. So we offer both formats on My Courses. The live onlines, it's a page that is set up with all the material. Usually we share those course pages 2 weeks in advance. So you start preparing for those live online courses, get the material, get the readings, anything that you need to review before coming to class. And then we post Zoom links on there. You have access to the faculty, and you go on that page, click on the Zoom link and come to class. And all assignments will be posted on that page as well. And all assignments will be submitted through that page. So there's one place where you do everything. For the asynchronous courses, it's the same platform. My responsibility is to build it in that platform. So basically, and we'll go over this during orientation, so don't worry about it at all. It's basically clicking through a page and learning content and following the path that I explain on there for you. Yeah, it's kind of complicated when I talk about it, but it is not at all. Once you look at it, it is so straightforward, and you will be a-okay from day one, I promise.
Has anyone ever taken, oh, I'm sorry, was there a question?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Gerta.
No, if I was just asking if anyone has any other questions.
Yeah. Has anyone ever taken an online course before, maybe in a bachelor's program or other master's course? Does anybody have experience with this? Babak has, yeah. Any advice to share with your, I think kind of moving online does, people wonder sort of what it's going to be all about. Would you have any advice to share with folks?
Mine was a little bit different because we had certain assignments and we had to submit it by the beginning of the next week. But for me, well, to be honest, it was a little bit hard to catch up with online courses at the beginning because it was in the middle of the COVID and it was the first experience, but hopefully this time is different.
Thank you. Yeah, I would say, and Gerta, I'd love for you to provide feedback too, but I'd say that is the biggest challenge is time management, because, these are courses that you do on your own, and not that you're lazy or bad students. It's just, like I said before, life kind of fills in. So we really try to, Gerta has these amazing calendars in each course. So even though there are no deadlines, and that is also kind of challenging, it's like it's great, but it's also, lets you sort of push things to the end because you're human beings. But Gerta puts a calendar in the course with suggested completion roadmaps. So that is probably our biggest suggestion, is try to do that. Try to, if you think about this course, they are 7 weeks long. There's 6 modules. So if you put yourself a deadline for every week to get through the modules, that is the best way to do it. And we try not to overlap courses so that you're really only ever working on one course at a time. Sometimes there's a little bit of time where you might be prepping for a live online while you're wrapping up an asynchronous course, but for the most part, you're doing just one course at a time. So try to schedule the same block of time every week or a couple hours every day, and almost make it like a work meeting. Block off your calendar, tell your family, you're sort of out of commission for these days. But yeah, Babak, thank you for sharing that. I think that does tend to be the most challenging part of it. Gerta, any advice about that?
Yeah. So we at Holt are very good at keeping you responsible. So if we see that you have not done any work in these courses, we do send you an email, a soft email, friendly. Hello, how are you? How is life? I've noticed you have not logged into the course page. You haven't done any work. We don't want you to fail this class. Tell us what's going on, So we're very good at that. We have another colleague, Deirdre, who helps us manage that process. She's so good at it. And we try to give you as much information as possible. Like Jen said, I do create calendars for all the courses, just so you can keep up with the pace. Life happens, of course. So you're like, I can't do 2 modules of work in the next 2 weeks. I have this big presentation at work. That's why we say, okay, I give you estimate times for each of the modules. For example, you might need 8 hours to do all the work in that module and the assignment. So we know we give you as much information up front so you can kind of schedule your time during the weeks and do the work. And this is for the asynchronous. We always, so there's no deadline for the asynchronous except for one. So you complete the work in 6 weeks, and you can do it whenever, right? I give you like road maps and say, here's suggested times, but there's only one deadline at the end of that course. And I say all the assignments are due by that date. So you have the flexibility to do the work whenever, you can. For the live online classes, you always have a week or two after the class happens, so that if the class ends at Sunday, you have another week to work on your assignments and then submit them. Unless we know that you are going to be working on a team project and you're going to be done with a team project on that Sunday and it's ready to be submitted. So we always give you as much time as possible thinking about your busy lives, and try to support you as much as we can. I know sometimes people are like, oh, online MBAs is like Zoom University. This is not going to be Zoom University. We are always there with you. Our faculty are amazing. Our classes are very engaging, and you will never feel like you're alone on Zoom listening to a faculty lecture for hours. I'm the program manager and the digital program manager, and I do not allow our faculty to do that to you. I tell them their lectures need to be 20 minutes, and then you need to be in groups discussing, debriefing, learning practical hands-on skills. And they get it. Our faculty are amazing. They're not, divas where they will lecture at you for hours. Yeah, I have so many other tips that we're going to go through as you start doing your courses. Yeah.
Gerta, thank you. And thank you for introducing Deirdre. So Deirdre Bradley is a really crucial part of our team. So you have the whole team, but primarily Gerta, Deirdre, and me will be your support folks. So we're going to kind of walk with you your whole student journey. And we'll put this in the chat, but we have a team email that comes to all of us to make sure we get back to you. And it's just gomba@hult.edu. And I'm sure Gerta is putting it in the chat. So yeah, Gerta, thanks for reminding me about Deirdre. And the other thing is, you can get to any one of us. I always put my scheduling link. We use a scheduling software called Calendly. You might use this for your jobs. You can always get to us. So you don't necessarily have to have a problem. If you just want to check in, you can put some time on our calendars and we'll talk through things. And like Gerta said, we're not going to let you disappear. We can see what you're doing, and it's a little creepy on one side, but the other side is it lets us help. And again, it's not because you're a bad student or you're not capable or you're not smart. It's just things get away from you. So we're going to be that, that voice in your head saying, do your work, log in, get caught up. And I want to let you know that there's always safety nets, okay? Because we do know. And so there's a lot of flexibility built in this program. And if something happens, now the live online courses are a little less flexible because you need to attend all 3 days, and because there's so much content that's covered. I know you can understand that. So if for some reason you can't make a weekend or you're going to have to miss a full day, we'll give you other options. There's lots of different courses happening. We have students, again, programs all over the world. Hult has an office in Dubai, in London, in Boston, in San Francisco, and all of these programs are running courses too, in some extent. So we'll find one that works for you. Worst case scenario, we start programs twice a year. So it's always going to come around again if for any reason you miss a course. So I just want to let you know that there's always a way out. Okay. If something happens, just talk to us about it. And with the self-paced courses, the asynchronous courses, if you try one and it's just not working for you, we can withdraw you, and that there's no consequence there. You don't lose money, you don't get a grade, you get a W on your transcript, but that doesn't affect anything. And we can get you in a live online course or another offering. So as long as you are communicating with us, there is always a way out. Okay. Really, the danger comes when I don't know if you know the term, when you're ghosting us. I have teenage children. Who tell me this, it's like when you just stop answering calls and stop answering texts. Don't do that to us because we'll find you. We know where you are.
Yes.
And yeah. So And again, just take any kind of self-judgment away, because that's not how we are. You know, we just know you're human beings. So the best thing you can do is just to stay in touch with us. I wanted to mention one more thing about faculty. Again, with Live Online, you'll be with your faculty for, you know, intensive times, as Gerta mentioned. But even with the asynchronous courses, every week you'll have a chance to see your faculty. They run live office hours. So they'll be on Zoom at least once a week, and if not more. And if students need them, they are always willing to meet with you. So they're real people, our real faculty, watching your progress and ready to talk to you and work with you. So even with those courses, you're going to have live faculty interaction.
It's like you read my mind, Jen. I was just going to say asynchronous courses are not courses where we tell you, here you go, take it, you're on your own, figure it out, learn, turn in your assignment. It's never like that at Hold. We have live office hours every weekend on Saturdays, and faculty are always there for 2 hours, come with questions. They do lectures sometimes if there's a topic that you're interested in. They're happy to stay on and share. Yeah, so it's never you online doing the work on your own. There's always office hours, there's discussion forums. And like I said, we always check in on you if you're falling behind, and we see that you're falling behind. We want to check in and make sure that you're set up for success at every step.
Any other specific questions right now?
Hello, Jen. Oops.
Hi,
Can
Kosuke.
you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
This is Kosuke from Tokyo. And
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So my question is that I just want to imagine the daily life during the taking the hot online MBA program. And my question is 2 questions. How many hours do we expect to study during on weekdays, a day? And also, how often do we need to contact with team members during weekdays, not except for the weekends, like online live course? Just how do I manage those with them?
It's a great question. Gerta, did you want to?
Yeah, so we say that you study about 15 hours a week. That is the average, 15 hours a week. And then if you're taking a asynchronous course, you can decide how you spend that, right? Because it's asynchronous, you don't need to be online for that. And for the live onlines, most of the time, there's a little bit of work that you do before you come to class. I would not say it's 15 hours. I would say it's less than that, maybe 3 or 4 hours. And then after the live online weekend, that's when you probably will spend more time, that 15 hours, on your assignments. There's always a final assignment after the class, after the live online class. Now, regarding the teamwork, we usually have you in teams, working in teams during the live weekends. So I would say planning on talking to your teammates during those 3 days. So if you have a Friday class and you're doing a challenge, we put you into teams. You're in teams during that time that you're supposed to be in class, but you can also work outside of class together to prepare for the next day, right? And then Saturday, come together, you're working in teams on Zoom with a professor, and then class ends, and then you might want to stay on and talk to your teammates for a little bit longer. You can do that. So I would say teamwork is usually just during that live online weekend. We try our best not to have team assignments for asynchronous courses because it's so hard to, talk to each other. You're all over the world, right? So it's hard to set up meetings and find the right time. But for the live online classes, we usually have a team assignment because you are in teams during the weekend, and it's easy for you to build a PowerPoint presentation during those 3 days and then you can check it, on Monday, you can check it and review it together online and then submit it.
Okay. And
does that answer your question?
Okay, yes, thank you. And how do we usually contact with the team members? Like I already registered WhatsApp or
yeah. So for your classes, we usually put you in teams when you start your program, so you get to know each other. Well, the first thing that we do is have you get to know each other through the program immersion course.
Okay.
So we have a lot of introduction sessions where you introduce yourself and get to know each other. You will get to know each other during that first leadership class. So the first leadership class is called your leadership journey. And one of the activities that you will do there is be in groups and share. So you'll get to know, each other very well there. And then the team usually puts you into teams for the challenges until you are familiar with each other. And then for the other challenges, sometimes we let you pick your own teammates. So maybe you're interested in working with someone else. And then I think outside of the classroom, we usually have our cohorts create WhatsApp groups.
Okay.
And then, Kazuki, just to answer that question. So in the live online weekends, we use Zoom. So we send you to breakout rooms. So you don't need to go off and meet on your own. We create breakout rooms within the course class.
In the course class.
Yeah, so you won't. So when you're doing those kinds of teamwork exercises through leadership and the business challenge, you're going to stay in a Zoom room like this, and we just kind of leave it open all day, and we put you into breakout rooms.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
So no coordination on your part, trying to get into a team on your own. We're always going to be on this side, arranging everything, coordinating everything.
Yeah. And then you'll share contact information and program immersion. Everybody has a Holt student email. So, you can reach out to each other through your student email. So, Nandor?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Nandor and I'm from Hungary. So I have just one question regarding, you said that after every module we have an online assignment. So how does online assignment look like? How should we? And is there a, let's say that can someone, let's say, fail and then repeat the module, or how it works?
That's a good question. So just to make sure I understood your question, you're asking about, are you asking specifically with the asynchronous courses?
Yes.
Okay, so the question is, what do the assignments look like? How do you get feedback on it? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Gerta, I'll try this and then you can fill in any gaps that I leave. But as we mentioned, that we try to be as flexible as possible. So there are no due dates along the way. So again, that's a plus, and it can also be a challenge. So you're going to hand in, everything will be due at the end of the course. Now, if you're, so again, that does provide a little bit of a challenge, because sometimes, you might feel like you need a little bit more feedback. You can always reach out to faculty throughout the course to see how you're doing, to get a kind of a pulse check on your assignments and how things are going. But otherwise, you kind of hand everything in at the end of the course. But again, so is it possible to fail? So there are rubrics for each assignment, and you'll see that. We try to not, it's not tricky. You're going to see exactly how you earn full credit for everything. So you'll see in the assignments, they're broken down, it's so many points for posting a comment about a certain assignment. It's so many points. Sometimes there's, reflection papers. So you will know what you need to do to earn, full credit for a course. Let's say worst case scenario, usually students don't pass when they don't turn things in. So it's rarely the case that the work is not of quality level. It is most often that a student just doesn't turn something in because they ran out of time or they forgot to do it. In those cases, you know, and I hate to always bring this up because it kind of puts a little bit of negativity around this, but worst case scenario, if you do fail, and again, there is no reason to fail because you can withdraw from a course up until the last day of the course. So let's say life goes berserk and, you know, you just don't think you're going to make the deadline, you can withdraw from the course without consequence. If for some reason you do fail the course, again, by not handing work in, then you would need to repeat the course. The only issue there is that students need to repay to retake a course if they fail it, not if you withdraw from it, but if they fail it. So that's kind of the whole spectrum of the assignments. Gerta, would you add anything to that?
No, that was great, Jen. Yeah.
Okay. Does that help, Nandor?
Yes, definitely. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. I'm getting another question about timing. So how many months does one module usually take? And that's a great question. And we're gonna make sure you have your whole program calendar because the modules don't really fit neatly into like a semester. So, but I'd say if you're thinking about timing, a module usually takes like 2 to 3 months to complete. Okay, so we will make sure you have your whole calendar so that you know how to do timing. The entire program, I know your enrollment advisors told you that the program is 26 months. It is possible to accelerate that if you want to move a little faster. And we'll tell you all about that during orientation, and we'll show you how the next 2 years of your life is going to look with academics. But again, you can accelerate that with elective choices. So our MBA program is 42 credits. Everybody takes 42 credits. 34 credits are required and prescribed. So those are your core classes. And then 8 credits are electives. So electives are typically done in the summers. They can also be done, what we're working on developing are asynchronous self-paced electives that you can take throughout the year. So once we lay out the full calendar for you, you'll see how it can all be done. But again, you can go a little faster if you have time. I mean, you know, I know probably most of you are working and have a lot of commitments, but let's say there's a couple of months where it's a downtime at work or you have a little more extra time. You could pick up an elective and move the program along a little faster. I'd say the minimum would be about 24 months that you could do this, and it's very reasonable to finish it in 26 months. Osama, we're gonna provide the full calendar at orientation, only because it's helpful for us to talk through it. But if it's something, actually, we might be able to send it out sooner, but no later than orientation. So we're trying to make sure we have it all organized for you. And the one thing about the calendar is, we'll send you our predicted dates, but with the live online courses, one thing to remember is they're live with live faculty. So, sometimes things shift a little bit, not once we've published the dates, but so we'll give you the best idea that we can about the weekend dates by orientation. And then, if anything is going to change, we'll let you know as soon as possible. Okay. Yeah, okay. But right now you can actually see your schedule for the first module. And I don't know if did anyone receive that from your enrollment advisor? What we'll do is
So the academic calendar for the first 2 modules has been published. So you will know your classes up to January, the dates up to January.
Gerta, are you referring to the portal, the student portal? Was it posted there, or
it was
sent by
posted
email?
on my Hold? Yeah, if you have access.
Okay.
To my
I do. I set it up and everything. Yes.
Okay, I can paste the link in the chat for you guys.
Please do. Please. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
And we can also let's see, in my next email, I will put a link to it to make sure that you at least have the first, I think it takes you through the spring semester, that version of the calendar. So you can at least see what the weekends are through the fall and spring. Okay. Yes, I will share that in an email, Yash, for sure.
Hi, Jen. This is Divya.
Hi, Divya.
Yeah, thanks. The calendar that you will be publishing, would that include the dates for electives as well, in case we want to enroll for that?
Not yet. So typically until just last week, actually, we only offered electives in the summer months. And that's true about all Holt programs. All Holt MBA students take their electives during the summer months. So that schedule, we will let you know. You could take electives this summer. You're going to be pretty busy jumping into the program as we have it laid out for you. But you certainly can, again, if you have time this summer, we'll talk through all of that. And if you know you might want to take extra courses this summer, once you see the calendar, please schedule some time with me. And I'll make sure in the next email, or I'll actually post it in the chat here before we leave. I'll put my scheduling link and my email in case you want to talk about this. But you could take electives during the summer. So you could take up to 2 electives during each summer, but we will have the schedule for the electives hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But essentially what you could expect is 1 additional self-paced elective in the fall and another one in the spring.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. The reason I was asking is just to have, as a working mother and, everything, just wanted to have a foresight of what's coming, not necessarily thinking about taking it this summer, but it helps to have the calendar.
Of course. Yes, of course. So once you leave orientation, you will have the whole 2 years, you will have the dates, you will know, when your courses are going to be taken. And again, Divya, if it helps to have a individual conversation, I'm happy to talk you through it. I know you're, as parents, you're all probably planning way ahead. So if you ever need specifics, again, please feel free to get in touch.
Sure.
Thank you, Gerta. But Gerta put the calendar in the chat again for the first 2 semesters of your program. But I will also make sure to share my Calendly scheduling link in case you want to talk a little bit more in depth about your specific circumstance. Gerta, could I ask you while I put my Calendly link in there, could you talk a little bit about electives and just a little bit about specializations as a kind of a teaser to what folks are going to get during orientation?
Sure. So as part of the program, you will take up to 8 credits of electives, and we have 2 credit electives and 1 credit electives. So you can mix and match if you want, but usually it's 2 credits. So you'll take 4 courses, 4 elective courses. We have a list of specializations. I just want to pull that up really quick. I never remember the list of specializations, Jen. So this year we're offering specializations in marketing, business analytics, finance, management, project management, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And you have to take at least 3 elective courses to declare a specialization in your program. You can only declare only 1 specialization, and it is recorded on your Holt transcript, but not on your diploma. So when you register for electives, you'll see which courses, and we have over 100 courses that we offer, which courses count towards each of the specializations. And once you get access to that course registration portal, you can decide if there is a specialization that you have in mind that you want to take 3 classes in. I think it's pretty cool that we have that. We'll be adding more. Every year is different, right? We look at electives and we send out an interest survey to all our students to check your pulse. And if there is a specialization that you're interested in and we don't have on our list, we take that into consideration and we add new courses, and we might even add a new specialization if you're interested in.
Thank you, Gerta. And again, there's no need to worry about a specialization right now. Again, we're going to give you all this information as we go. What you need to focus on first, and there's time to do these electives, just focus on your core classes. I'm just going to take a minute. Valentina, is it okay if I share screen and we can look at this calendar together? Okay. Let me just, all right, let me just share the screen, and we are going to, I just want to talk you through. Okay. Valentina, I think you need to make me a co-host or something so that I can share screen.
Okay, give me a second.
Sure. Or if that's too complicated, you could always, do you see the attachment in the chat? Maybe you could share it and we could talk through it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Don't seem to be able to.
Okay, no problem. So while Valentina is looking at that, any other questions? What I will, and again, during orientation, you'll hear all about this, but we'll also make sure that you know you have a community in Holt. So one thing I want to mention to you, again, I know many of you are already working, but you might be in this MBA to, upskill or move in your company or get a different, a different kind of a role. So we're going to make sure that you know how to find our excellent career services portal. Great. Okay, perfect. I'm going to go back to that in a second, career services, but okay, actually, thank you, Valentina. I'm going to go ahead and share this on my screen. Okay, can everybody see this okay? Okay. All right, so this is what your calendar will look like. And again, we'll make sure, so you can see this takes you through January. We'll make sure that you have the rest of it. But these are your first 2 modules. So again, remember I said you have 5 modules in your MBA, and they all start with authentic leadership and end with a business challenge. And then there are 2, except for the last module, there's 2 core classes in between. So you can see, I'm just going to talk you through this, but again, we can, we'll go into depth about this at orientation or individually if you need, but you can see here the dates we've already asked you to save. So there's April 21st, which is orientation, our program immersion that we've been talking about, which is self-paced or asynchronous. And that's about, it's really about 2 weeks should take you to get through, and that'll happen between April and May. You see your first live online course. This is required for everybody. So April 28th to the 30th. And then we get into student choice. Okay. And again, we're going to let you know how to make these choices. But for marketing strategy and financial statement analysis, you can choose between self-paced or live online. So you can see the dates there. And some of this may be time-based, like maybe you've got a wedding to go to June 2nd to the 4th. So for that class, you're going to do the asynchronous version. All right. So you always have that choice. So there's your 2, your 2 core courses, either asynchronous or live online. And then we're at the end of the summer and the end of your first module already. So this is going to move very quickly. And your first business challenge, again, where you only see one choice here, this is required for everybody. So August 18th to the 20th is going to be your first business challenge. Then we turn you right around. And again, for everybody, September 8th to the 10th is your next leadership live online course. All right. And then again, we do it again. You've got a choice for business insights, applied econ, and then we wrap up module 2 next January with your business challenge. Okay. Any questions about this calendar? And again, we'll make sure you have this information for the rest of the modules. We're working on putting it together in this format so it's really clear. We'll include the elective information so that you have it all for your planning.
So excuse me, I do have a question, please.
Sure. Yes.
So I'm not sure if I'm understanding it well or I'm missing something, but will there be any break in between these modules?
So sometimes there are breaks and, sometimes not. It really depends what we tuck our courses into the Holt calendar, but around the holidays, so between between December and January, there is a break, and you'll see that. So for example, your applied, economics course will end towards the third week of December, and we don't start up again until January 12th. So there's going to be 3 weeks break in between there. So sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it just kind of rolls along. And if you're taking the live online, there are breaks because, these wind up to be every second or every third weekend where you're working. So there are built-in breaks there. It's a little more continuous if you're doing the asynchronous, again, because it's sort of self-paced on your own time. But yes, there are usually at least 1 week between the semesters, and very often 2 weeks. And then again, in that winter break, there's a good 3 weeks. And then there's a nice long break after this summer. So you'll see between Business Challenge 1 and Leadership, there's a nice break of 2 or 3 weeks between August and September. So when we send you the calendar, that's mapped out a little bit differently, you'll see that there are breaks in there.
Thank you.
Sure. And that's when you should schedule your weddings, your babies to be delivered if possible during those breaks, any kind of life thing. Yash, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do have a question. Hi, everyone. We have classes on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, supposedly on 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of June. And for instance, I missed the class on Friday, but I can attend the class on Saturday and Sunday. So how to cover up that Friday class?
So there's a couple of options. If you miss that class, unless there is an extreme extenuating circumstance, like a sudden illness or something really severe, if you miss a class, then it does affect your grade. So, we do, for the live online, we do collect attendance, and that would impact your grade. We really don't recommend it. What we'd rather do is put you in that course in another weekend, if possible, just because there's so much content that is covered in each one of those days. There's so much teamwork that happens. So the answer is try not to, if at all possible. If you know of something that's going to get in the way, let's talk and see if there's any way we can put you in another offering of that class. If it's a choice where you can do asynchronous or live online, we would say, okay, if you're going to miss part of the weekend, go into the asynchronous. And really we would, so that's kind of the answer. But if you have to miss it, there's no way around it. You would be responsible for working with your team members to find out what you missed. We don't really expect faculty to help students catch up because attendance is an expectation, but certainly you could work with your team members, review the instances and knowing that it would impact your grade.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so I know I just muted myself. We know we're almost at the end. So the one quick thing to wrap up career services, we'll tell you more about that. We're going to have an information session about that this summer. So keep an eye out for a webinar. We'll talk to you how you can access one of our career services advisors and the virtual career events that we're going to have throughout your program. And don't forget the Global Summit. We will once a year have the chance to come together real life in person for a weekend of networking. We are working on finalizing the dates for that. It's very possible we're going to have this in the fall in Dubai, so we're super excited about that, but stay tuned for information, and we will rotate that event across our campuses, so you'll have a great opportunity to visit our campuses. All right, Valentina, Gerta, sorry.
No, I was just saying November is not nice in Boston.
Right, yeah.
So I did not want to do that to you.
Yeah, we want to.
Unless you like snow.
That's right. We want to put our best foot forward to when we're all together. So, all right. Well, you have our contact information. Gerta, thank you. Valentina, thank you. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. You know how to reach us if you have other questions, and we really, really cannot wait. If you can't tell, we are so excited to get you started, and we can't wait to see you in a month or so, and I'll be in touch by email, but please feel free to reach out anytime. And if you have any questions, we're happy to stick around for a little while, but thank you so much, everybody, for participating.
No questions. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good one, everyone. All the best.
Thank you.
Yes, Yash. Let's get started together.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye. See you.
Bye.